Okay, good morning. We will call this meeting to order. If we could please get a roll call.
Yes, ma'am. Veronica Cordova,
Here.
Preston Elkins,
Here.
Rustin Self.
Here.
I know Mike Rackler is absent. Chris Wood.
Here.
Okay. All committee members are present. Well, no, sorry. The
All
majority,
except.
yes. So we have a quorum.
Okay, so this meeting is giving me a little bit of fits. I couldn't find the agenda because I had to move to WebEx on my computer. So I don't have the agenda right in front of me. So I will just go with item 1. And if Lily, you could please read it off.
Veronica, this is Chris. Would you like me to read them off?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay, we'll move on to item 3, approval for the minutes from the meeting of May 22nd, 2025. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? If so, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion. We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from May 22nd, 2025. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion passes. Item 4, discussion and action items. Letter A, presentation and approval of fiscal year 2026 final budget.
Okay. In your packet, your very first item is the final budget. Very few changes. So this is our final budget for fiscal year 2026. The key changes to the budget, of course, were the beginning cash balances, and now they have been updated to reflect the fourth quarter ending balances, which you'll see on that report. Also, our investment balances have been recorded with the respective ending balance as of June 30th. We updated the firefighter recruitment fund to capture the amount that will be reverted to the state. And then other changes were to the municipal streets fund. We actually received the TPF funding revenues in fiscal year 2025. So we're recording that in 25 and then removing it from the budget of 2026, but still keeping the expenditures in that fund. Also, we did expend our ARPA funds completely in fiscal year 2025, so we will not have that budget in 2026. I do plan to have some budget adjustments in the first quarter, especially some of our trash trucks that will be rolling over into fiscal year 2026, and then the roll-off truck that is also on order, also to update any changes in our grant awarding. So the first quarter, we'll have some budget adjustments that we will need to implement to our budget. And it's very, very similar to our preliminary budget. Again, it's updating the balances to reflect the ending balances as of June 30th. So I will stand for any questions. I know we've gone over our budget already since, I think, March, or when we had our workshop. Any questions?
I don't have any questions.
I don't either. And I will make a motion for approval.
We have a motion for approval. Do we have a second?
I will second that.
A motion from Preston for approval, second by Rustin Self. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. On to item B. What is next?
You're good. Item B is the approval and presentation of the fourth quarter report.
Okay.
Okay. So a very similar looking report. This is our quarterly report. This fourth quarter report is our final report for our fiscal year 2025. And this one will require a resolution when we go to present to council. The quarterly report represents ending balances as of June 30th, 2025 and year-to-date activity starting from July 1st of 2024. So all funds performed well and were all within budget. Of course, you saw quite a bit of budget adjustments that we had to work through for the year. Our general fund, we budgeted to expend $12,586,025, and we expended $11,201,729. So that left a little bit, about 10% unexpended. General fund budgeted revenues were at 10.9 million, and we received 11.8 million. So now a little over 400,000 of that increased revenue is transferred to the Economic Development Fund. So leaving an overall increase to our general fund of about 500,000. Okay. And I did make a few changes that affected the general fund and the fire and the law enforcement retention amount. So, and it's only $3,586 that I changed. So I put that into our general fund. This is the information I received yesterday from the state, letting me know that I needed to move that to our general fund and not have it specifically tied to the LERF funding. So you'll see that in the budget adjustment also reflecting on where I'm taking that off. And that is it pretty much for general fund. Other key funds is our water enterprise fund. We had budgeted a little over 10 million for both revenues and expenditures in our water enterprise, which of that about 4.1 million was budgeted for grant and loan funding. Our actuals, as you can see, were 6.5 million in revenues and 4.2 million in expenditures. And that covers mainly our key funds in our quarterly report. I will stand for any questions.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Rivera?
I do not.
None here.
I have no questions. I'll make a motion to approve the adjustments to, I'm sorry, the fourth quarter report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. So item C is presentation of FY 2025 fourth quarter budget adjustments, part 2.
Okay, so you have the bar report. Again, this is the $3,587 you see at the very bottom. That was the law enforcement recruitment retention stipend that needed to get moved. So I will be taking that off when we finalize it and have a resolution. But other than that, we just have some budget adjustments to actuals for our state fire funding. And then our EMS funding that needed to be cleaned up. Just one budget adjustment to our general fund for our streets department that was over budget. So that 11,000 is to cover that budget deficit in that department. So I will stand for any questions.
Ms. Rivera, what was the deficit on the streets budget?
It was just a little over 2,000. So 11,000 is the budget adjustments to cover the building maintenance expenditures in that.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
No, ma'am, I will make a motion for approval of the fourth quarter for fiscal year 25, part 2 budget adjustments.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Elkins, a second by Mr. Wood. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Now, moving on to item D, review of expense report for May through June of 2025. Ms. Rivera.
Yes, ma'am. So these are in your packet for your view. Some lengthy, since it includes all of the details on our checks. I will stand for any questions for either the May or the June check report.
I know it was quite a few pages that you would, that we all had to go through. Does anybody have questions on any of the checks or any of the items that were paid out?
What was the core in Maine for the water distribution and connection maintenance? Looks like we had several of them.
Can you tell us the page number, Preston?
3 of 14 of that check report, but in the PDF, it's page 83.
Is it in May? Okay.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
So that would probably be, and I would have to confirm with Mr. Mendoza, seeing some warehouse parts that they order from Core in Maine. But I can get more specifics from him to be sure on that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Mhm.
And then Wright Express Financial Services Corp. That
Right.
would actually be a question for you for 23,000 on page 92, also for May.
That is our WEX, our fleet fuel card system that we have.
Gotcha. Didn't know that was what it stood for. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, what is the pleasure of the Finance Committee?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
You have a motion by Mr. Self and a second by Mr. Elkins. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item E, discussion and recommendation on banking services with JP Stone Community Bank. Ms. Rivera.
Yes, so this was I believe this item, what we had tabled it at our last meeting. In your packet is the proposal that JP Stone submitted for banking services for two specific funds, which are the LGB Abatement Opioid Fund. Those funds are very restricted and should be in its own account. And then the Economic Development Fund. Currently, their respective balances are $293,117 in the LGB Abatement Opioid and $1,521,760 in the Economic Development Fund. So this item was tabled at the last Finance Committee. I learned that the proposal Ms. Davis had submitted to me back in May had gone to my spam filter. This gives an opportunity for this bank to provide banking services, meeting our requirements and paying the rates specified on their proposal. So I will stand for any questions.
Ms. Rivera, what is that rate that they are going to be paying?
So it will be the rate listed on the LGIP, their current daily LGIP current daily net as stated on the New Mexico State Treasurer's Office website. The rate will be changed monthly on the first Monday of the month unless Monday is a federal holiday, in which it would be changed the next business day. And I believe the going rate right now is 3.55.
Do we have any questions on the proposal that's in front of us?
None for me.
None for me.
Not for me.
Okay, seeing none, what is the pleasure of the finance committee?
I will move for approval of the JP Stone proposal.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Elkins and I believe a second by Mr. Wood. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item F, consideration for the City of Portales organizational chart. Ms. Rivera.
Okay, committee members, council, and constituents, our city has endured, of course, significant changes causing severe financial impact. We are at risk of potentially having to have a fiscal agent or have been at risk. And also not to mention risking losing grant funds due to late audits. Our finances need to remain solid and grounded, even when we have key changes in personnel. I propose adding a deputy finance director to our finance department and moving the public works project administrator and the public infrastructure admin under finance. The success of the project and grant administrators play such an important role in our finances, from budgeting, capital projects, planning, reimbursements, and procurement. Cross-training is vital. My vision is to create a team so strong so that changes in personnel will not affect the city's finances and put the city at risk. So we included a most recent organizational chart to share to give you an idea of what the city structure currently is. I will stand for any questions regarding this proposal.
Do you have a chart of the proposed changes you'd like to make?
I do. I don't have it to share with you at the time, as just right now, it really is a consideration in a conversation.
And Lily, you said that you're wanting to move public infrastructure and did you say public utilities under finance?
Just the grant writers, just the project administrators. So right now we have a one public works project administrator and that role right now assists with writing grants or applications, for example, all the water trust boards. And then we have a public infrastructure capital projects that does a lot of also grant writing. A lot, mainly for streets. I know currently one is like the Healthy Living Grant she oversees. So yeah, definitely not the entire department. It's just those certain positions under finances.
So
Okay, I was a bit confused on that.
what about utility billing and water? They deal with, cash in receivables, and I'm sure they have to pay out deposits if they're owed. So why would that one not go under finance?
So that one I have considered. That one I definitely feel like I need more time to have communications with our leadership to make sure that, if I move them to finance, that they're going to still have the support they need for billing and such in that department.
Okay.
That may be down the road.
Possibly down the road, yes, sir.
So I know that we have had some constituents saying, we need an assistant city manager because there's so much that's going on with the city. My personal opinion of it, and I've kind of discussed this back and forth with Liliana, when something happens in the city, the first thing that we look towards is the finance department. Our community can still run without, putting somebody in place for an interim city manager. Our finances cannot. So if our finances are not doing what they're supposed to, if we're not submitting properly. I mean, we saw with the last audit. Our finances have to be in place or we're not gonna get any of the money or any of the funding from the state, from the Water Trust Board. You know, we really, we have such a great finance team now that we don't wanna have to be at risk of being, assigned a fiscal agent to handle our funds. So in my personal opinion, this would be a really good recommendation to take to the council to have the deputy finance, position to open up. Does anybody have any other comments or concerns or questions?
So Veronica, my question is, you were talking about having a deputy city manager also?
Well, that's been brought up in some of the meetings. If you watch some of the meetings, you know, some of our constituents have come up and given public comment that they feel the city's in need of that. But, I feel like we're in need of a deputy finance director as opposed to like an assistant city manager.
So you'd be creating a new position?
Yes. Lily, can you speak on the budgeting for this?
Yeah, so currently it would be not necessarily, yes, a new position because it's that role, but you can see under Finance Treasury Department, it's myself, then we have finance. That's actually been marked for an AP position, accounts payable / fixed assets. That's what that role was. So right now, I only have temporary services to help me cover for AP. So this finance deputy director would take on that task of AP. So we would have to do a budget adjustment to more properly budget for a deputy finance wage rather than an AP clerk. Mhm.
Can I ask, and I know he's been on the job maybe 3 or 4 days now, but Mr. Minton, does he have any thoughts on this? Does he agree with you, or have we run this by him yet?
Hi, good morning.
Good question, Preston. I was thinking the same thing.
So I appreciate the question. And I will tell you that, yes, Ms. Rivera and I have talked at length. I am unequivocally 100% in support of a deputy finance director as opposed to a deputy or assistant city manager at this time. I am 100% on board with Ms. Cordova that everything is finances in a municipality. Nothing is free. It would be horrible to have a fiscal agent in our space. So again, 100% support of a deputy from Ms. Rivera so that we can get caught up on the work that we're doing and push forward into the future, and that we can nail finances 100%. So there's absolutely no opposition from me.
Okay, I just wanted to verify, because to me, personnel would fall under your hat. And I wanted to make sure that we weren't going around you and stepping on your toes. So, Mr. Minton, I appreciate that.
I appreciate that comment as well. I think the sensitivity is, as Ms. Cordova said, that there's some there's been constituents who have asked specifically for assistance. And I think sometimes we need to dive down and really find the root cause. And I think that city management comes down to financial management, and we need assistance in that area. So you'll never hear a pushback from me on this. Thank you.
Do you think there's a need in the future for that, or I guess time will tell, Mr. Minton?
I think time will tell is a really good statement here, because when finances are nailed down and tight, we can move on to other problems. And we might find that assistant city management is not a problem when finances are in check.
Okay. Thank you. I'm in agreement.
Ms. Divada, once you recommend the organizational chart to the to the council and it gets approved, how fast do those roles move?
So, Miss Veronica, we plan to move on this fast so that we can start our search. Of course, contingent upon council's approval. It's looking like in the fall, I will tell you that I will be out, for most of the month of August. So, if I can plan, if I'm not here, my presence, maybe perhaps our city manager can bring this to council, but certainly I will be doing it in the next few months.
Okay. Because I do feel like it is vital to have those key roles for the grant writers under finance. I mean, we have to make sure that, you know, we're doing our, we're having our POs done and you're the one that's double checking that. So if we can eliminate a step, you know, and having to go from the grant writer to their manager and then going to you for, to make sure that it all ties in, it's gonna eliminate that and then we can run a little more efficiently.
I agree.
Okay, any other questions?
Are we
No,
making,
ma'am.
are we making a recommendation?
Yes, so this would be a recommendation from the finance committee to move forward with consideration to the council for the proposed organizational chart.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation to hire a deputy finance director.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Wood and a second by Mr. Elkins. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, other business. Any matter not known about or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the posting of the agenda. Do we have any other business?
I have none.
No, ma'am.
None here, thank you.
Okay, any other business from the staff?
Miss Veronica, I did want to mention, and thank you, Miss Danielle, for bringing it up. In light of a lot of phishing emails or certain requests from, you know, maybe fictitious vendors and such, I was asking our city clerk and even our attorney, how can we better protect our information? In the finance committee, I generate a lot of reports and financials. Like, for example, the check report will list check numbers, our sequence and check numbers, vendors that we typically pay, and we have had you know, altered checks come through our bank account. Thankfully, we have our positive pay and measures set up that we can reject them. But I've had asked if we can share the packet items to our members directly and not post the packet items online and have the agenda as Miss Kimberly found out for us, that we can post the agenda and we don't have to share the packet. Of course, that is still subject to IPRA. So if somebody needed the information, they can IPRA the information. And there's any questions, comments, or feedback on that?
I agree with that statement. I'll tell you, I've been working with a lot of clients just in the last couple of months. They're getting emails and they're sending it to the finance director or the city manager, whoever they're sending it to, and they're saying our account has been compromised. We need to change routing and account numbers. So then instead of them having a procedure in place where you're actually calling the vendor to verify, they're just going in and changing the information. So there's a lot of scams going around with check washing, phishing emails with changing routing numbers. So the more precautions we can put in place, the better off we're going to protect our finances.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments?
I would recommend, I did not receive the finance meeting packet until I emailed Miss Mitchell this morning for it. So I know that since we're looking through those check reports, it would be much more convenient to be able to look through those a little bit more thoroughly. If we could send those out a couple of days in advance, that would be beneficial.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other comments from staff? Well, Mr. Minton, we're excited that you're here. You had your first finance committee meeting. I hope that your meeting yesterday went well. And do you have any comments for us, what you would like to see from your committee?
I do. I'm gonna back up just one. I'm gonna go back to the posting of information and kind of outward facing information. I'm completely on board with less is more. And we publish the minimums that we need to, and we reserve the preponderance of the data for ourselves. If people want to or have a desire or a need to know, they can ask for that in depth. But I think for safety, security, and flexibility means we need to narrow it down a little bit. So I'm in support of that. Thank you. To your question as being on board, I do appreciate the emergencies, or what I would call emergencies yesterday, a couple of water breaks. On day 1.5, that keeps all of us on our toes and allows me to meet the staff while we're jogging. So that's pretty cool. And I really appreciate the warm welcomes, the assistance, and everything from the team. So glad to be here. Look forward to more. And thank you very much.
You're welcome. We're glad you're here, and we're glad you're on board and feet to the ground running. Okay, item 6, if there's nothing else, we are adjourned. Thank you guys so much for attending.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.